Really, do they need to blitz? Right, because they can get there with their guys.
Baltimore Game Day Uncensored pregame. Let's take a look at the injury report.
Injury Report is brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Central Maryland. In pain? Contact the experts at Orthopedic Associates of Central Maryland at mdbonedocs.com. Care this good feels good to the bone. Injury Report.
And joining us is Dr. George Brouillet. And Doc, thanks as always for joining us. And let's start with Nick Boyle. He had extensive surgery. He said that I think it was the inside of the hammy was off the bone and the knee, and he came back, and it was a great story. And now after one game back, he's out again. I got to think that knee is giving him a lot of problems.
I would agree. I think this is potentially a really tragic scenario for Nick and for the Ravens. These injuries are tough, but the reality is that for the most part, we know how to take care of the original problem. So whether it's ligaments, meniscus, muscle tendon, etc., we can fix most of those. The things that we can't fix very well can be the consequences or the sequelae, which can be joint damage, i.e. arthritis, failure of the repairs, which leads to more wear, more tear, more damage, more surgery. So I have some real concerns about the long-term future for him, and obviously it's a shame, but this has got to be a really bad knee for him to try to come back and then one game and gone.
Now, Doc, talk me through the torn pec. What is
Marlon?
What's Marlon going through? And then what's the rehab and how long is that process?
It depends on the actual injury. As everybody knows, the pec is a big muscle in the front of the chest. Basically connects the sternum to the arm. It's a large muscle. The tendinous attachment at the arm side is fairly broad. The tears typically are either in the tendon by the arm or at the junction between the muscle and the tendon. If so, the repairs are fairly straightforward. Mm-hmm. If it's unusual if it's torn within the muscle. If it is, the repair is more difficult. But assume that it's the more typical pec tear. You fix it, you rehab it. It's no different than any other muscle/tendon repair process. Begin to get him moving anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. Because of what he does and the violence of the movement of the arm away from the body, and how he has to use the arm to tackle, this has to be fully rehabbed. So I think you're probably looking at anywhere from 3 to 4, maybe even 3 to 6 months for full recovery. But they come back. They come back pretty well.
Yeah. Hey, Doc, how does a guy tear a pec? What's he got to do to tear a pec? It's usually probably reaching, or explain that one. What's the way to tear the pec?
Usually the arm is away from the body, so sort of reaching out to the side, and then is either hit in that direction or he comes forward as if he's trying to tackle somebody. So the force is against the arm going away. And you can see it, in fact, in the video of his injury. It's very clear, and it's a perfect example of how they get injured. It's funny. We didn't see a lot of pec tears 5 or 10 years ago, or we didn't identify them at least. But we seem to have a lot more now, and I'm not quite sure why. We see them some in lifters and other folks that are doing steroids, and I'm not accusing any of the football players of that, but it's odd that we seem to have an increased incidence in the pec injuries.
Last thing for you, Doc, and that's Mekari, who is out with what they're saying is a hand. And sometimes with guys in hands, they put it in a thing. Like
hard with an offensive lineman.
Yeah, and then they pad it up. What do you think's going on there?
I've had the same question, and I don't have a fair guess. They get penalized for using their hands, don't they?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't come up with something that makes sense unless it's more wrist, and he's had a more serious wrist injury than they're saying. So I can't help you with that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We're asking questions as well. Dr. George Brouillet, thanks as always, sir. Enjoy the game.
Thank you, gentlemen. Same to you. Bye-bye.
All right, Doc.
Baltimore Game Day Uncensored pregame show live from the Green Turtle in White Marsh. When we come back, we'll check in with Rob Long from the Big Bad Morning Show and also get our first look at the weather in Cleveland with meteorologist Vinny Serrato. It is Baltimore Game Day Uncensored pregame. We're with you till 1 here on 105.7 The Fan.
Fuel your holiday adventure at Molly's. That's right. Stop by and have the friendly and knowledgeable staff at Molly's help you pick